Hi, I'm Dan Rosenstark with MIDI Designer, and in this video I'm going to show you two new features in MIDI Designer 2.5. The first is Rotary action for knobs, and the second is Display Zero for knobs, sliders, and crossfaders. And both of these are pretty big game changers for MIDI Designer. The first one is Rotary action. So oftentimes in MIDI Designer, I'm in one of these situations where I want to put a knob all the way at the top or all the way at the bottom of a page. And when I do that, when I go back into performance mode, and I can still move it around, it's not bad. But we're hitting our limits here, and if I want to make it bigger or if I want to make it long throw, to get some precision, it's really hard to do. And sometimes we switch pages accidentally and all that stuff. So this is a simple change. I just go into More, Design Mode, double tap the knob, and I go into Advanced. And here I've got Use Rotary Action. Just tap that. And you'll notice a lot of the other options change. I'm going to do the same thing for this other knob, Use Rotary Action. And I'm going to exit design mode. And now I can go around the knob, and I can even go outside it. So, even though I start on the knob, I have to start on the knob to tell MIDI Designer which knob I'm interested in. I can go and rotate around it. And in the future, we're probably going to make that higher precision as you move around. And same thing at the bottom. So that's Rotary action for knobs, and now I'm going to show Display Zero. So now if I go into design mode, and I'm just going to I'm going to make a new page actually, and I'm just going to go to Actions, New After, get a new page there, and I'm just going to add a slider. And here I'm just going to do something typical, which is I go into Properties and I say, okay, I want my display max to be something lesser than this. So my display max is going to be, let's say, 10. And my display min is going to be -10. This will be some kind of concept, like let's just assume this is something like a pan knob, or a pan slider, and number of ticks, it could stay at 128, that's absolutely fine, but really we know that we have 21 ticks from -10 to +10, including the 0, so I'm just going to go 21, and if it's an odd number, there's a nice 0, so that's important to keep in mind. So now if I exit design mode, it looks like this. It's always, we know that it goes, goes to 4, 5, 6, and here's a 0, but the LED slider looks kind of weird. I really want it to start at this 0 point. So I go back into design mode and I double tap it, and now I can adjust the display 0, and it even shows me exactly where I'm going, and it really nicely describes the tick that I'm on. So you can see 50% is 64 is the MIDI value, the display value is 0, and this happens to be 50%. And if we were to use named ticks, those would show up there. So I go to Apply, and you can see that the slider has already changed. Exit design mode, and now it goes up and down from there. And I'm just going to do one more thing. This is, there are a whole bunch of features that go together, of course, if you want them to. I'm going to have it snap back to its default value. So I go to Advanced, Snap to Default Value. I'm going to have it snap back over 6 seconds. So now I pull it down, and it goes and snaps back to center. And that could be an effect, that could be on a super control that has that snap back so the sub doesn't have to have it. So that could be cool. And the same thing applies to knobs. So I'm going to actually convert this to I think a crossfader first. So I go to Actions, Change Type, and there it is as a crossfader. And you can see we barely changed the UI for crossfaders, and suddenly they look great. Here is -10, here's +10, snapping back to 0. That looks pretty cool. And same thing if I convert it to a knob. So I'm just going to double tap it, do a change type again. Now it's a knob. You can actually see the 21 ticks on the knob because it's a pretty low number. It'll show all the ticks. And there they go, and the 0 is right in the center. There are other uses. You can move it around. It doesn't have to be in the center. It could be at the top. So there's the Hammond drawbars thing that users have been asking for. So you've got the value at the top where you want it to 0 up there. And I imagine there will be some other ideas that involve putting it, low, medium, high for some equalizer controls. We'll see how users use this, and we'll see what you have to say about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking it out. So we went over rotary action for knobs, and we went over display 0. Both of these features require the extra features pack, which is an in-app purchase to use, which also includes image panels and some other stuff. But if you make a layout that uses these features and give it to somebody else, they can use these features without owning the extra features pack or without paying for the IAP. They can use the layout, but they can't make knobs, sliders, and crossfaders with these functions, or knobs, in the case of rotary action, without the IAP. So thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out MIDI Designer, and thanks to all the users who keep us going.